George, one can assail this issue from various angles. Of course, there is the issue of the fault lines within Syria that have been exploited by a number of actors within Syria also and external actors also. But the Israeli strategy has always been, as I said, anticipatory self-defense. And that is something which it cannot be attested by what we have currently in international law in terms of the definition of preemption. And there's also a conflation of preemption with prevention. Any thoughts on that, George?
Of course, it's illegal. As you said in your introduction, preemption might have some validity under international law if there's a real and direct, immediate threat of attack. But Israel's theory is that it's attacking Syria because Iran is transferring missiles across Syria to Hezbollah in Lebanon. So there's no way that Israel can justify its attack by claiming that it is under any kind of immediate threat. I mean, it hasn't even reached Hezbollah in Lebanon, so therefore you can't invoke that as a direct and immediate threat. And again, the attacks are also coming at the Syrian military. So it's quite false to say, well, we're only attacking the Iranians. They are also attacking Syrian military forces.
So their argument is, because I don't have an Israeli on the panel, so I'm just putting that sort of black cap on. But their argument is that because Syrians have allowed the Iranians to entrench, and of course the Iranian forces are on Syrian bases, so therefore Syrians are responsible, and the Syrian armed forces will also become a collateral damage in any targeting of the Iranian forces on Syrian territory.
Yeah, that's undoubtedly their argument. But of course, it's a spurious argument. I mean, imagine if everyone started arguing along those lines and then think in terms of, well, I've got this distant threat that might come from a third country, so I'm going to hit another country because they're transferring missiles there. And if there's collateral damage, and I'm going to target and hit and kill citizens of that other country, then that's fine with us. But nobody else does this. I mean,
I totally agree with you, George, because obviously, as you know very well, there can be no limiting principle to this kind of argument. And in fact, if we just go back a couple of weeks, I mean, what they did in Gaza in terms of assassinating the leader of, one of the leaders of Islamic Jihad is again something which simply cannot be defended on the basis of international law. Of course, realpolitik and show of force is a completely different thing. But as I said in my opening, and I maintain that, there have been a number of examples of Israeli military strategic action in terms of preemption. And as far as the Iraqi reactor is concerned, it was a complete conflation of preemption with prevention.
Yes, absolutely. But what's interesting is that when they did that in 1981, I remember this was in the Reagan administration. During the Reagan administration, the United States condemned what Israel did and did not attempt to justify Israel's action, which was a nakedly aggressive act. Yeah. Today, it would be inconceivable. I mean, if Israel were to do something like this today, and in fact, they did do this in 2007 against Syria, also claiming, they're building a kind of nuclear weapons site or whatever. Yeah. America would just say, yeah, fine, we support this, we're all for it. That's just a measure of how much the United States has now moved into a nakedly apologetic state for Israel. So whatever Israel does, whomever it kills, whoever it destroys, there's always the U.S. administration and the 535 members of Congress ready to say, yep, Israel was fully justified because Israel was acting in self-defense.